Investment, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Kenyan has termed the new reciprocal tariff by President Donald Trump a mixed bag of challenges and opportunities for Kenya. According to the CS, while a 10% tariff on Kenyan exports to the US is not as high as other African peers, the country will still have to grapple with high cost of exporting goods to the US. Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei has indicated that the country will be seeking a waiver of the tariff to protect Kenya's trade interests in the US. Safina Chengoma reports.
Fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
In a drastic shift from American trade policy, President Donald Trump unveiled a new trade strategy which imposes reciprocal tariffs on 185 countries in a move designed to counteract foreign tariffs and trade barriers that, according to President Trump, have placed U.S. businesses at a disadvantage.
Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple, can't get any simpler than that.
Trump announced a minimum 10% tariff on all imports to the U.S. and additional reciprocal tariffs for 20 African countries. Kenya, whose trade with the U.S. stood at $1.5 billion in 2024, is among states slapped with a 10% reciprocal tariff. This means that key exports to the U.S., including tea, coffee, textiles and horticultural products like flowers, fresh fruits and vegetables, will be greatly affected. Analysts are also predicting job losses and reduced revenues for businesses that depend on the American market. Investment, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Kenyan says the 10% tariff imposed on Kenya is lower than the rates imposed on key textile exporting competitors. This, he says, will place Kenya as an alternative sourcing hub for U.S. textile buyers. Kenyan further states that Kenya could extend its manufacturing spectrum and begin producing goods that are now more expensive in countries slapped with higher tariffs. Trump's reciprocal and universal tariffs also threaten to override the tariff-free provisions on the African Growth and Opportunity Act, a U.S. legislation that had regulated trade with most African countries in the last few decades, which is set to expire in September 2025. Through his X account, Kenya's Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei indicated that the country will be seeking a waiver from the U.S. government, holding that the new U.S. tariff should not be applicable before the lapse of the AGOA agreement or if it is repealed by Congress. A statement by the South African presidency on Thursday has indicated plans to negotiate a new bilateral trade deal with Washington after the country was slapped with a 30% tariff. South Africa expressed concern over what was termed as punitive tariffs that serve as a barrier to trade and shared prosperity. Lesotho is included in the long list of America's worst offenders in trade and has been slapped with extra tariffs of as high as 50%, Madagascar at 47%, Mauritius 40% and Botswana's 37%.
Foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories, and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream.
The tariffs, which take effect from 5th April 2025, come as many African countries are already grappling with effects of the U.S. foreign aid cuts, which provided health and humanitarian assistance to vulnerable countries. Safina Chengoma, Citizen TV.